got the three people on your left are all automotives, and the two guys on your right are in construction pathway. Okay. So to start off, let me ask you guys a question. Freshmen, raise your hand for me. I'm going to ask for very minimal participation from you, but raise your hand if school's not your favorite thing to do on a daily basis. You're not really enjoying sitting in class.
It's okay if you put your hand up, freshman.
You're not going to be punished.
No. It's okay.
Some of you? Okay. Watch this. How many of you would say that before career pathways you did not enjoy school? Now these are elite students, but don't feel like that these people don't have anything connected to me. They might have dropped out if it weren't for CPI. That's why we wanted to share this information with you, okay? So now I'm going to ask questions to you guys based upon your CPI discipline. So right now as freshmen, you guys have 8 periods a day, right? Their schedules are a little bit different, and I want to show you by comparison and contrast how their schedule is different. So let's go with the automotives first. I don't care who answers, but one of you tell us, how is your schedule different than a typical 8-period day that they're going through?
So instead of starting at 8:15, we go in at 8, and we have 3 periods. Would be 3 periods for you guys, which is 2 hours and 40 minutes for us. To be either 20 minutes in a classroom, and then mostly rest of the time would be in the shop, kind of doing stuff that we'd like to do. And then after that, 2 hours and 40 minutes is up, we'd come back and have our regular classes, just like the rest of you guys.
When you say shop, what does the shop look like? It's not a classroom like this, right?
Yeah, it's like an actual, it tries to make it feel as a real automotive shop. You have lifts, you have tire machines, you have tire balancers, brake machines, you have tool rooms, and you have all kinds of tools that you can use. Just the environment is what makes it feel like an actual shop for you, like an actual job.
So rather than sitting behind a desk, you guys are out in an actual automotive shop, right?
Yeah, we pull in our own cars and kind of do stuff. And if you don't have anything to do, you can help someone else.
What types of things have you seen done to students' cars while you guys have been there?
We've had brake jobs. We've pulled motors from a couple cars, fuel filters, a bunch of oil changes. And the good thing about the oil changes, we had for a week, we had a project Homeless Connect where we had near homeless or homeless people come in, and we gave them a free oil change.
Very
That's
cool.
awesome.
So you're telling me that half of your day is not here at Gish, and half of your day is not sitting in a classroom, right?
Yep.
You're actually earning credits for going to work on vehicles.
Yep.
Right? What about construction? How's your schedule different than the freshman schedule?
So we go in at 8, like the rest of them at CPI, and then we're in the classroom for about like 10, 15 minutes about, and then the rest of that time we're mostly just in the lab, just doing like working on cabinets and stuff like that.
I remember you talking about first semester was different than the second semester. What did you guys do first semester while you were at CPI?
First semester we worked with this Habitat for Humanity. We pretty much build a house. Like when you get there the first day and like look at what you're gonna work with, you legit see a hole in the floor, like on the ground. Like you legit make the house from like that hole to like a house that someone lives in. Like they can just move in the next day. You know, it's very hands-on. You do a lot of things. You all like divide and you all do your own thing. Like someone's doing siding, another person's doing insulation and everything, you know?
You split up into groups. So like let's say one group is doing, like you said, siding. The other group is working inside on like insulation and stuff, or putting up sheetrock. You're not just working on like one, like the whole class is working on one thing. You're dividing up and working on a bunch of like little things.
So on different days, do you guys get to work on different parts of the house?
Yeah, so like one day we'll work outside of the house on like siding or like putting up windows or whatever. Other days we'll work inside. Like if it's raining or whatever, we'll work inside the house instead.
Very cool. Let's see.
Ask how much, remember how we asked the other group how much money?
Yeah. So 2 financial questions. Do you guys have any idea how much money in tools is at the CPI complex?
They say about $400,000 worth of tools.
Cool. You guys So your first semester, you guys are working on the Habitat for Humanity house, right?
Correct.
So if they're not familiar with what that is, describe who you're building that house for.
So Habitat for Humanity, it's like I think it's like some organization, and you're supposed to work a certain amount of hours, and you're supposed to help out with the Habitat for Humanity. You're supposed to help with them build houses and stuff, and with those hours that you work, you're able to get your own house.
So the house that you guys are building is actually going to a family in need,
Yeah.
right?
Family need usually apply, and if they're like accepted or like qualified, they have to put in like certain amount of like community service hours, and they also have to like help out with the house, like painting the house or help with a little bit of just anything that has to do with the house. You know, they have to help out quite a bit.
They're not just
Yeah.
giving the house for free, and they're like, here you go, here's your house.
Because it's not a free house.
Yeah.
They work hard for their
Mhm.
their house. A lot of community service hours and stuff.
Yeah.
Describe the house. How big is it?
It's a
2 bedroom.
two
right?
bedroom house.
2 bedroom, 1 bathroom.
Your normal living room, kitchen.
Pretty good.
Do
Pretty
you
nice
know
kitchen.
if that house were to sell in Grand Island, if they were to put that on the market, any idea how much that house would go for?
I'd say around like 120.
Yeah, 120, 130.
120,000.
$120,000. Okay,
It's
so
a
that's
nice house.
very interesting, that you guys are making a $120,000 house and it is going to a family in need, right? Senior year, how does that change?
Senior year. So senior year, we go from building a 120,000 house to like, what is it?
380, almost
Yeah.
$400,000 house. It's
Yeah.
like has like a huge 8-foot basement like on the bottom. It has it's like what 3-4 bedrooms and like 2
Yeah.
bathrooms. Like it's completely a whole nother thing. It's
it's a
huge. It's like
big
one of those
house.
houses all the way over there, like outside the city. It's huge, guys.
So instead of going, it sounds like instead of going to a classroom, once you go to CPI, first semester, you go to the,
Yeah,
to
so
the
senior year.
acreage where you're
Actually,
building a
they're
house,
changing
right?
So from senior year, instead of how you do it junior, just that first semester, from senior year, you're just there the entire time.
Yeah,
So
like
half of your day is working on building an actual
Yeah.
house.
yeah, and they're actually changing it now. So like instead of meeting up at CPI, we can just directly just drive all the way over to the house and start working on it immediately. You know?
Where's this house being built?
Oof, it's like over by like Stir Museum. It's like, you know that new
Indian
hospital?
Head.
Yeah,
Yeah,
over there.
Mm.
Yeah, it's pretty
You guys
far
know where
away.
Indian Head Golf Course is at?
Yeah.
Okay, that's like the prime property right now, and this is where our CPI kids, they are building there. It's amazing.
And I mean, if you guys don't like construction, there's also, I think, what is it, drafting, right? That actually like makes the house that we're gonna build.
So they're making the plans for us
It's like
for
if you're thinking
next
of,
year.
yeah, if you're thinking of being like
So you
a,
guys are really working together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can kind of
We
see
are.
that. That's
So
awesome.
the plans they're making for this year, they're making it for us.
So the
next year.
seniors that are in the drafting program are actually laying down the blueprints and the plans for the house that you guys are gonna build next year, right?
yeah,
That's
pretty
too
dope.
cool.
It's all made by us.
Tell me about Skills USA. What is that and how is that beneficial to you?
You guys wanna take it?
Skills USA is a statewide competition, and it has different fields like construction, some automotive, drafting, manufacturing, and you go through a process where you have to fill out some papers and stuff to get accepted into that or go compete, and you compete with other schools from around the state, and you just try and place first, second, or third, and students who place in that can go to nationals, and national competition is held in Kentucky, Louisville,
You
Kentucky.
gotta go for free, guys.
And also, what's cool about
What?
that, you gotta go.
free?
You gotta go for free if you qualify for like if you're a state champion, like for example in carpentry or plumbing or electric. If you place as a state champion, you gotta go compete in nationals, which is in Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
It's in Kentucky, and you just go for free. It's like what 3 days?
So for the construction pathway, what types of things, what kind of events can you enter into to try to qualify for Skills USA?
It's electric,
plumbing, carpentry,
and
masonry.
So you have like 4 different things that you can
Yeah.
do? What about automotive? What kind of things can you enter into?
Automotive has like auto body collision, just trying to fix car parts, or they have one where you have to diagnose the problems that a car has and try and fix it in an amount of time.
So this is, you said this is a statewide competition?
Yeah.
And then if you place in the state, then you go to nationals?
Yep.
So that's probably like the best of the best, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we probably don't have anybody that has made it to nationals, right?
We have a couple.
We have 10.
Really?
Yeah.
10. Actually, 10.
Yeah, we have a good list.
You
Of,
10?
yeah,
That's
people.
amazing.
Okay, so let's say that they make it to nationals, which, if they finally make it to nationals, what, if they place first, second, or third, or they place first in that one, where do they get to go?
Dubai.
Dubai, guys, for
You
free.
guys know where, freshmen, you know where Dubai is?
Yeah. If you place in that, like, what was it? I think Mr. Kibbe told us last year. They went to Dubai. It's held in Dubai, guys. Like,
And you also
big
get to
cards
go
and
to
stuff.
go for free to that one as well.
You get to go to another country to compete and you don't have to pay for it?
Yeah.
All you gotta do is sign some papers, guys. Like, just try it out, honestly. And if it doesn't work, if you don't place, you can also see a lot of, like, for us that we work in construction, you can see a lot of like contractors. And if they see us, they can be like, all right, I want you to work for us after your senior year. So after high school, I want you to work for us. And if you're like, no, but I want to go to college, it's like, don't worry about college. I'll pay for your college. You just have to guarantee that you're gonna work for us. You know, it creates a lot of opportunity if you go.
Just kind of puts your name out there.
Are there any certifications, or can you get any college credit or any of that stuff while you're in high school?
And on the automotive one, we have OSHA training. It's a 10-hour test. You don't do it just in one go. You do it throughout a week. You get that, and it certifies you under a bunch of the tools and machines that we have in the shop, and also certifies you that you know all the safety precautions and all that. So, say if you were to apply for a job and you certification, and someone who didn't apply, or someone who did apply didn't have it, you'd have the upper hand on them over that. And they also have a college credit course for senior year. It gives you 10 free credits.
What about construction? Is there any certification you can get from that?
Yeah, so we also have OSHA exam, and it's the same OSHA 10-hour, and we also get college credits as well.
And just if construction's not your thing, freshman, if automotive is not your thing, I also know that the welding department, they're working not at the CPI building, they're working at CCC, which is over by Sturm Museum, you know what I mean? They get college credit while they're in school, and when they complete it, they get another free 12 hours of college credit. That'll get you most of the way to an associate's degree by the time you graduate high school. So imagine somebody that is graduating from, let's say, Northwest, and they want to go apply for a job, and they're up against somebody that's in the CPI program. The CPI programs have certifications. Some of them already have some of their degree programs taken care of, and they're not paying for this stuff. It's getting paid for while they're in school. So that is stuff that anybody else that wasn't going to GISH would actually have to come up with money out of their pocket and go to school to get the exact same things that they're getting while they're in high school. That's pretty significant. How has this changed your approach to school?
It's a lot of fun because it's very, very hands-on. Like for construction, I remember when the beginning of the school is when, like, you know, when you start like on a Wednesday, right? You go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on the classroom, just talking about safety and this and that, about like all the seminars and stuff. And then right on Monday, you just automatically go to the house and it's all hands-on. You measure, like, you get the dimensions of the house, and that's how it is, like, every single day. When it rains, usually like go back in the classroom and do something else. But I mean, you're rarely in the classroom, guys. If you hate like just sitting down and just looking at like the back of someone's head, it's a lot better to be in CPI. You know?
They give you like power tools and hammers and stuff to actually work with. They're doing carpentry, they're doing all kinds of stuff. I know that ladies, if you're thinking this is not up your alley, number one, engineering is really, really hungry for women, and they'll pay for your tuition to go to college to get the things you need. We had a young lady in my third period class that is in the medical pathway, and she said by the time she has graduated high school, she would already have her CNA degree, and she didn't have to pay for it. So when she gets out, she can go start working in a hospital or start going to work in a health facility just off of what she's got while she was in high school. So this is not just for guys, okay? So how did you guys get into CPI? Did you just show up one day and they sent you to go work on a house, or what's the process?
There's an application process that you have to fill out, but before that, your freshman year or your sophomore year, you have to take a intro to built environment class. That's the first step. If you don't take that class, you probably won't be able to get in. So you have to take that class. It's basically mandatory. And then after you take your class, they have an application process. You fill all that out, and you just wait for your response, see if you're accepted or not.
Are there any requirements that you have to have met in order to become part of the CPI program?
Yeah.
Taking that class, the intro to built environment.
And your grades and attendance.
But I mean, also, if like your grades aren't that good or anything, there's also like an essay part of the test. So like you say why you deserve to be part of it, and I mean, you can still be like accepted to it. You know, it's not just because you have like pretty low grades, it still doesn't matter. But I mean, I recommend you to have it though.
Qualified, any of you? Did you not have very good grades, but you still got into CPI?
I like B's and C's. So.
No.
Okay, so if any of you are sitting out here right now going, well, yeah, but I don't have very good attendance or I don't have very good grades right now, that is not going to disqualify you from getting into the program. What you have to say is the reason I'm not getting good grades is this whole traditional school thing doesn't work for me. I like to work with my hands. This is going to get me more motivated to come to school. This is going to give me what I'm looking for in a career later on. So even if you're sitting here right now thinking to yourself, well, I'm not going to qualify for this because of my attendance or because of my grades, there is still a shot that you can get in there. Okay? You got any questions?
I might have to
So how do you go about applying?
You start off and there's like it's kind of a long application, but I mean it's all worth it. Usually starts, what is it, before first semester ends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes to like February or like March. I think it's February.
How will they know?
Usually get an email.
Get an email
Or-
or they do it in the
intro.
announcements.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Usually if you're in the intro class, usually like they remind you to do it just because it's a lot of fun, guys, being here.
And also being in that intro class, sometimes the teacher might even like not make you, but push you to kind of encourage you to sign up or apply.
Very cool. I do also know that there are some of the pathways that you don't have to take this intro class for. For instance, the medical pathway, there is no intro class for. And the information technology, there is no intro class for. The ones that you're going to be actually building things and working with your hands and working with tools, that's what the introductory class is for. But there are also several other things that are in the CPI building or that pathway that you can still get into even if you haven't taken the introductory class. Did any of your counselors talk to you about this intro class, the intro to build class? Are any of you signed up for it? Okay.
Are you in it?
You were told about it, or you signed up for it? Awesome. If you are a student who is sitting in class and not thinking that this is for you, it's somebody that you like to work with your hands, it doesn't matter if you're a male or female, if you've got good grades or not, this is something that you should consider. If you have questions, I am in the room next door, okay? Come knock on my door, come in there and ask me what you need to ask me. Are there any questions that you can think of that came up to you while they were talking that you want to ask them? I'm going to open the floor to the freshmen and see if you have anything that you want to ask them about the CPI program.
What does your English class look like? Is it different from freshman or sophomore when you had to read novels?
Oh, yeah.
Is it different? Is Mr. Kidler is he trying different things with you that are applicable to what you're doing now? Is it different?
Yeah, so
How is it?
our classes aren't just like reading and all that stuff. It's based more on like what we're going for.
In the future, yeah.
Mhm.
You
Can you
kind
give
of
some examples off the top of your head that
something that really comes up to me is that whenever we had a day where, for example, after a project or after a presentation or something, he makes us read like a chapter out of a book that's like how to become more successful in life, or like what you're gonna do and everything, and like you kind of like you do this worksheet online, and like it kind of helps a lot because like it has really good advice.
that you can use
that you can use
now and
yeah.
in the future get a good job?
Hey, don't get me wrong, freshmen. English class is English class. You're gonna read, you're gonna write, and you're gonna give speeches, okay? You're gonna give presentations. I make all of them do that as well. But rather than reading novels and reading poetry and reading stuff like that you may or may not be interested in, everything that they go through in class has something to do with helping them to become a better version of themselves, or a good employee, or more employable. It's all stuff that has to do with whatever their CPI discipline is. So it's still an English class, but it might be something that would be a little bit more interesting to you if this is not your cup of tea.
Yeah.
Like our first semester, he had us do a presentation over a business that we might even want to work for one day. And it's cool because one of the questions, or some of the questions that you had to answer, they had to be from someone who actually worked there. So you got good information from people who have experience at that business, your company.
So if somebody said, hey, I think I want to be a welder, for that project, they had to actually go find a welder that has been doing that for a while and interview that person about likes and dislikes and how long they've been there and how much money they make. And they had to actually interview that person to come back and present to the class. So even the presentations are different than what a normal English class would be expected to do. No questions?
Is it y'all
Huh?
sleeping?
You have one? Absolutely.
How do you feel that you've grown as a student or as an individual because of this particular experience that you're doing right now?
You feel a little more disciplined to like what you have to do inside of the classroom, because being at CPI is almost a privilege. Because if you're gonna be at CPI and jack around at school, then it's really not gonna work out for you. There was some people that got kicked out. So CPI is a privilege, and it kind of disciplines you to work not only in your pathway, but inside of all your classes too. Or that's how I feel. That's my approach on it.
Something that can be taken away, right? Very cool.
Others?
Jeff, come on, dude. You're my poster child for this changing people's lives.
Come on, mate.
Like your first semester.
Has that helped you gain vision for where you want to be?
Yeah. It changed my attendance because like last year and everything, I wouldn't really come honestly. And ever since I joined CPI, it's I guess forced me to come more and more. It's,
Because you have a purpose.
yeah, I have an actual reason to be coming to school.
And you'll be getting something out of it,
Mhm.
getting your name out there, and then having all these colleges or companies reaching out to you.
You gain a lot of experience out of it, so I mean. it's
Imagine graduating, and instead of going to have to look for a job, people are coming to try to seek you out to have you work for them.
Exactly.
Imagine how much more power and leverage that'll give you when you're talking about a starting salary.
And there's tons of scholarship opportunities. Through the list of some of the kids that went to or going to nationals, all the scholarship money totaled up is around 50 grand, split up between all those students. So there is a bunch of scholarship opportunities through that too.
So you were talking about yesterday. You were talking about in Skills USA that just by making it to nationals, people were getting free tools and money and scholarships and a free trip and all kinds of stuff, right?
Yep.
Like, how much would it, like a set of tools be for an individual? Are we talking like 20 bucks, or what are we talking?
No, for automotives, through all the sockets and wrenches and power tools, the CCC came to talk to us, and they said the charge would be around $50,000 worth of tools just for one person. And
One
then,
of my buddies from high school is in Alabama. He runs his own shop, and he's got $200,000 worth of equipment that he uses just for automotive. He pays more than for his tools than he does for his house.
Wow.
yeah.
And
And
you can get money for scholarship
Yeah.
money to buy those.
Yeah, and then some even buy all of your tools. And it's not cheap because we lost a little rail of sockets. It's like 10 sockets, and it was $200. And it just all adds up quick when they start getting bigger and more or stronger,
More
and just
advanced.
more advanced tools and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, we don't just get simple stuff like a simple wooden hammer with like a steel top or anything. Now we get top of the line anti-vibration type hammers
Yeah.
and stuff. Like we get top of the line stuff, guys. We run machines that are I think I remember in the beginning of the school year we got like a $200,000 machine. I just like, like they're just like calling it in. It's like, what is that? It's like, oh, it's like what, $200,000. Like, y'all better be careful with it. Like, just that's a lot of money for something.
What's the simulator over at the construction?
Oh, y'all forgot about that. You want to talk about?
Just tell me about one.
So it's a simulator for like what is it?
It's like a
A backhoe? Or what is it?
it's
It's
like
a-
excavation thing,
Okay.
and you can what is it? You can actually like
Yeah, it's pretty much like driving the real thing, guys.
Yeah.
You get you train on that, and you can get certified too. And if you get certified, just by being a driver for that, you get like a whole bunch of money. So that's
It's just-
usually do it on sub days too. Like we have nothing to do. Like, hey, yo, I'm gonna just get on this. All right, so you just get on, and it's kind of like a game too, you know.
So I've seen it. It's a big old seat, just like you would be sitting in like a great big excavator, a great big backhoe. And it's got handles on it, and it's got all the controls on it. And then you look at a screen, and you're actually, through that screen, you're controlling the end of the bucket and pulling things up and trying to dump it into other stuff. Isn't there like a point system that you can get on that, or you said it's like a video game kind of, right?
So that's pretty much like a video game.
yeah, it's just like a video game, but you're actually getting the training for it. So
That's really expensive too. I don't remember how much it was. But
I'm not sure how much it is,
super
but it's really
expensive.
I used to build in-the-ground pools for a job during college. And the way that they would start doing that is they would bring somebody out and they would unload this great big backhoe, one of the things with the big buckets on it, right? And the dude would come in and he would pull off out of the ground, and he would even angle the bottom of the pool and all that stuff. And I got the opportunity one day we were on a break, and I went over and talked to him. I said, how much money do you make for doing this? Dude makes $100 an hour. $100 an hour. My boss, on my first day of work, had me come over. There's a line right here, right? So before they put in a pool, they go stake it all off and make sure they know where it's going. There's no lines underneath. They know what everything's going on. He goes, I got a hat on, right? He said, come here, I want you to do something, all right? My boss, first day of my job. He goes, come over here and put your toes on this line. I put my toes on the line like this, just like this. This dude is in this machine that's about the size of this room, and it's got a bucket on it that's about half of the room wide. And this dude, without hesitation, in that machine, comes over, extends it out, and hits, boom, right in front of my toes, and takes out a chunk of the earth. I almost wet myself. I was like, ah, right? And then he takes that same bucket, lets go of the dirt, comes back over, and goes, sticks it right in front of me, and goes, and flips my hat off with a $400,000. It's crazy, insane. I was wondering why. I'm like, when he tells me he makes $100 an hour. Now, don't get me wrong. He doesn't work an 8-hour day. He would go work 4 hours, so that's why he makes more money, because he works half the time. But I was wondering, how is it that you make as much money as you make? And then I saw the skills that he does with the actual bucket. I totally understand. Totally understand. I thought he was going to take off my toes, and then I thought he was going to take off my head. But you can do stuff like that, and they can train you over there at the CPI Panel.
Yeah, you get experience from that. I mean, if you think $100 an hour is a lot, just imagine doing it in a video game. Like, if you mess up, that's cool. But like, once you do it, like in real life, it's gonna be a whole lot easier. Like, you can. That's easy money, guys. You know. Yeah.
Any other questions?
What advice would you tell the students, student careers, just about life in general, clean, you know? Just stay in school, or
Stay in school and be prepared, because opportunities are gonna start coming your way, and if you just kind of brush them off, you're gonna end up regretting it. It's amazing how many opportunities you get through it. So you just can't ignore what you get put in front of you.
Time goes by really fast.
Oh, the academies, you could help out with that, right? So the CPI is the first lane in the academy model that we are getting ready to apply. There's going to be 6, with one of them being the freshman academy. So that we'll also have what it's called technical sciences, which is what the CPI one is going to be. So you already know that in that lane we've got automotives and construction and manufacturing and drafting and welding and IT and all of that stuff. but we're also going to have one that is engineering and technology, we're gonna have one that is education, we're gonna have one that is medical, we're gonna have one that is business and communications. So each one of those lanes, just like this one, has a number of different jobs that you can go into or learn about. Each one of those lanes is going to have a whole bunch of things that you can do within there. So not only do you get an option, not next year, but the year after, your junior and senior year, not only will you get an option of what lane you want to go in, but in that lane, you can get experience in several different jobs that are going to give you the opportunity after high school to step out and start making money. The whole idea about why we're going to the academy model is we were graduating 55%, more than half of our kids from senior high, when they graduated, were not prepared to go to college and did not have a skill, which means they're going to go get jobs, second-tier jobs, like working at Sam's or going to a restaurant or things that you can go do right now. No more skill than what you've got right now. We had 55% of our kids that were graduating and going out to go find jobs that weren't there. Now, when we get into the academy model, everybody that graduates is either going to be college and career ready and go out to go that route, or you're going to have a skill. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it for the rest of your life, but rather than going out and have to go apply at Sam's or apply at Kentucky Fried Chicken, you can actually go out for a job and have a skill that you learned in high school. So you can go start making money for you and your family. That is the difference, and that is why we are moving from this traditional model to this academy model. Thanks, gentlemen.
Okay, you guys, freshmen, let's clap 3 on 3 for a great, great presentation. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That was weak.
That was sleep.
Come on, freshmen. 1, 2, 3.
Thanks, guys. Take your chairs with you. We brought all of them over here. Like I said, if you were too nervous or too shy to ask questions because all these people are in here, come over here and ask.